Are you a professional or an amateur? Let me explain why this in context here. We've just gone over what it means to have a foxhole or an environment that makes the decisions for you because it's all based on principle. Too often I hear people say, yep, I got a New Year's resolution, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to lose 20 pounds, for example. But there's no implementation statement. There's no actual layout of a plan moving forward. So I just want to give you a little bit of a contrast of the difference between someone who lives in a world of being a professional and someone who's a wannabe. For example, let's say you fancy yourself as a writer or you want to be a writer. Here's the difference. An amateur writes when they're motivated, but a professional is motivated at 8 o'clock a.m. every day. Now, how is it possible? So let me just think that through with you for a second. That's because the professional schedules the writing at 8 o'clock every day, and they know how to get through writer's block. Because they're professional, they already have the environment that makes decisions. It isn't optional if they're going to write or not at 8. They're going to write at 8, just like you go to work. An athlete, an amateur, exercises when convenient, but a professional exercises at 6:30 every day. Now, I'm not a professional athlete, but I've ran multiple marathons. I've done some long distance riding like the Seattle to Portland, 200 plus miles in one day. In order to do anything like that, I had to be very focused on my training regimen. There was no option for me not to work out. I had to work out constantly, consistently, and I had schedules when I did it. So I saw myself motivated to exercise or to run Dark 100 in the Northwest when it's wet and dark and dreary and all by myself with a headlamp. That's just part of the game. The same thing's true for happiness. A professional person who's happy, who has great relationships, knows how to do it and lets the environment make those decisions. A photographer. Amateurs take a camera along on occasion. Professionals take the camera everywhere. A reader, a lifelong learner. The amateur reads when there's nothing else to do. Oh, maybe I'll do this. Oh, maybe I'll get to that. A professional reads at 8:30 in the evening every night. Books are everywhere. They're constantly learning, and they're talking about those ideas. Remember, Hyman Rickover said, small minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. How can you have a great mind if all you're doing is watching TV or playing games? Or visiting with the family who talk about Aunt Mildred and Aunt Ruby? That's not a great mind. Think about your last conversation with your best friend or your spouse or your significant other. Where was the mind? Great, average, or small? If you're small, you're just talking about people. There's no solutions, there's no ideas. Become a lifelong learner and have an engaging conversation. When we get to Awareness Journal, you'll see why this is so important. In an Awareness Journal, you have to write about something you learned every day, a data point. 2, you have to write about something emotional intelligence, something you noticed every day. 3, how did you take care of yourself today? And 4, what are you grateful for every day? Those are increasing your awarenesses. An emotional intimacy. An amateur complains and criticizes and is resistant to change. It's everyone else's fault, not my own, not anything I have anything to do with it. But a professional deliberately practices being happy, deliberately practices rules of engagement, knows what it looks like, knows what it feels like, and then ultimately happy. Amateurs are happy when motivated. When all the stars line up with Aquarius, I'm happy. That's called codependency. But a professional is happy every day because they know how to create happiness. When you own your happiness, joy, and well-being, it's because you've practiced getting there. Your neural pathway is deep. You've learned to focus so you can lose focus. That's a beautiful place to be in acceptance and in the flow. Practice 1% per day being a professional. See you next time.